Hey, what's up? It's Obi, and this is Emunah 101. Today we're going to talk a lot about how to find the best in every situation and how to see situations that happen to us in life and they're crazy and you're like, how can that be good? And we're going to see how you can make that situation good and how you can just see it as good, from the start. So we're at the best point, what we've been reading in the Torah, like recently, we're at the best point of what happens. Really exciting, the exodus of the Jewish people from Egypt, right? And it's a great story. Basically, Moses is born, right? And Pharaoh has this prophecy that, a Jewish boy is going to be born. He doesn't have a prophecy, sorry. His astronomers look in the stars and they tell him that a Jewish boy is going to come and overthrow and redeem the Jews and overthrow Egypt and everything like that. So Pharaoh, being the king of the entire Egypt and being able to do what he wants, he says, okay, so kill all the Jewish boys, right? It's a great solution. And they throw them all into the Nile. Now, actually, in the end, don't worry, none of them really died. They were all miraculously saved. But especially Moses, when his mother put him into the river, right? Who was the person who saved him? Badia, who's the daughter of Pharaoh. So Pharaoh makes this decree that all the Jewish boys have to be killed, and his own daughter saves the one that's gonna redeem them. And not only that, but Moses then grew up in Pharaoh's palace, and he was like a prince over there, and Pharaoh used to play with him on his lap, and it's just hilarious that Pharaoh was literally raising the bane of his entire kingdom. And it's like The Emperor's New Groove. If you've ever seen it, it's great. You should go watch it after this, okay? We'll put a link. We're not going to put a link. Anyway, so what are we getting to? Okay, so we're getting to this awesome story brought down in the Midrash that Moses was playing on Pharaoh's lap one time, and he grabbed his crown. He saw his crown, it was nice and shiny, and he grabbed the crown off of Pharaoh's head. And so his magicians and sorcerers said, that's a sign, that he's going to steal the kingdom from you one day. And then the other people in the palace were like, he's just a kid, he's just playing, it's a shiny thing, But Pharaoh was a little scared that, maybe he's smarter than we think, and it was a sign that he's going to steal the kingdom. So they devised this plan that they're going to sit Moses down, the baby Moses down, in front of two piles of things. All right, one of them is going to be a pile of jewels, nice and shiny, that kids like to play with and eat and everything. And then the other one was going to be burning hot coals, which also look very pretty if you're 2 years old. So they put both of these things in front of Moses, and this is the moment of truth. What is Moses going to choose? And the decision was, if he picks the jewels, that means that he's a smart kid, he understands the value, and they're going to kill him on the spot. And if he picks the coals, so then they'll let him live because he's just a kid who likes shiny things. So what happens? They sit Moses down, and Moses, being the smart kid that he was, he starts reaching for the jewels. And the angel Gabriel comes down and moves his hand to the right and makes him grab the coal. And the coal was so hot that he put it in his mouth to cool it off, and he burned the tip of his tongue. And this is where we're getting to, okay? That situation that seemed awful for Moses was really what saved his life. Because if he had chosen the jewels, which he knew the jewels and everything, he would have been killed on the spot. But since God sent down Gabriel, the angel Gabriel, which represents God's judgment, okay, every angel has a different attribute it represents. Gabriel is God's judgment. And what did Gabriel do? Gabriel made him burn his hand and burn his tongue. And for the rest of his life, Moses could not speak properly. He was lisping, and Aaron always had to go with him to translate to people. But that's what saved his life. And a lot of times in our lives, we go through a certain situation, okay, we're progressing, we're doing good things, we do everything that we can to make the right decision, and we're heading and we see the success within our reach, and then suddenly something happens completely out of our control, and the wrong thing happens, and it affects the rest of our life, and you always look back to that moment, and you're like, no, if that could have been it, like I did everything that I could, and God just took it away from me, and I'm paying for it the rest of my life. And all of us have situations that they can relate to where they had a moment there and it just got taken away, and now they're paying for it. But the thing is that you don't know what you were being saved from by not being successful in that area. You don't know what you were saved from by God pushing you to do something that, yeah, it hurts, and yeah, it did damage you possibly for the rest of your life, but it saved your life. You don't know what that thing could have done. Like Moses, if he had picked the jewels, he would have been killed on the spot. And instead, he picked the coals, and for the rest of his life, he had an impediment, but he was still alive. And just give like a practical example that kind of made me think of this. A friend of mine, really good friend of mine, we grew up together, and somebody betrayed his trust and stole his credit card. Somebody he trusted, he stole his credit card information and racked up a really nice bill with flights all over the place, and he had a good time. And my friend was like really upset because he worked his whole life on building like a strong credit, and he was into investing in properties and stuff like that, and he's entrepreneur into business and everything, and somebody had come and just destroyed his credit. And I was like talking to him, and I was trying to think of how can this be for the best. Something that I really like to do is I like to think of like situations and imagine to myself how it could be for the best, even though I don't know what God's plan is, and I'm sure whatever God has in mind is something way better. But I like to think about how could this be for the best, and I make up things in my head. So I was talking, I was like, for all you know, you might have just made a really big investment. Someone might have come to you and been like, hey, this is an awesome deal, let's buy this, we're gonna make it big together. And you might have taken out a big loan on your amazing credit, and then that deal would have failed and you would have lost everything. And instead, now you still have, so you have a bad credit, but you still have, you're still okay right now. So you don't know what you're being saved from. It could be that somebody stealing his credit card information is what saved him from making a bad investment that could have really ruined him for the rest of his life. Obviously maybe that's not what would have happened, but it's just an example that I wanted to show how you never really know like what is going on. And even if something seems like it's the worst, you don't know how bad what seemed good really could have been. And I want you guys to help me out and let me know in the comments, think about that situation, how like someone's stealing your credit information and stuff, and think about like other ways that like it could be for the best. It's a really fun thing I like to do, is like I just play around with scenarios and think about how, oh yeah, that's actually really awesome. So if you guys could let me know in the comments your opinions on how a situation like that, other ways that it could really work out for the best in the end, let me know. I really hope this video helps you guys, because all of us go through a lot, and it takes a lot to get through the life to know that, hey, you know what, everything that's happening is for the best, and it's not something that's easy. So I really hope this helps you guys out. So with that said, click over here to subscribe to the channel. Click over here if you want to see another video of mine where I talk about a really powerful way to pray, something that helped me a tremendous amount in my life. Check out emunahchannel.com, please. It's an amazing website that I'm part of the team creating. It's what we do over here. And just tons of other inspirational content, music, blogs, art, all sorts of really cool stuff. So go ahead, check out emunahchannel.com. And if you want to click on my finger, you can click over here and you can follow it around. Just like that. Or you can click over here, or you can click over there, and have an awesome day.